Why are you in such a rush? I've never heard you say anything about this. Sophie was slightly taken aback by the sudden turn of events. Something happened in Englander, and I must return to settle it. The truth was, Nicholas did not want to stay there for a second longer. Why don't you go back first? I want to stay here a little longer, said the woman. Sophie, you and I are engaged. The trouble in Englander is much more serious than I expected. Why don't you come back with me and help me out? There was no way Nicholas would allow her to stay behind all by herself. At his insistence, Sophie let out a sigh and stopped rejecting him. Is that so? All right then. Nicholas heaved a sigh of relief when he heard her answer. In the next second, his phone rang, and he hurried outside to accept the call. After his call, he noticed that Padma was leaving, and Richard was trailing behind her to send her off. There's no need to thank me. You're fast at transferring money. I like it, said Padma. No one had ever suspected Padma's abilities, not even herself. Okay. Be careful on your way home. Nicholas maintained a similar demeanor with other women. He did not display excessive interest when engaging with them, with the only exception being Sophie. Only in Sophie's presence did Nicholas reveal his longing, desiring her undivided attention. Richard, send Ms. Padma to the airport. Understood. Richard and Padma departed, leaving Nicholas alone. As he hung up the call, a mischievous smirk played across his lips. Everything is going according to plan, but why do I still feel a lingering sense of unease? They had to depart as soon as possible. Only then would Nicholas find peace of mind. If they lingered any longer, he couldn't help but worry about the impending consequences. Upon his return, Richard also inquired about Nicholas' plan. They had been away for an extended period this time, and it was time to head back. Boss, I have already made arrangements for our return, Richard informed. Very well. Make sure everything's meticulously handled. I want to avoid any unforeseen complications before our departure, stated Nicholas. Having recently gotten everything he ever wanted, he was determined to safeguard his newfound contentment from any potential disruptions. Don't worry, boss. I will see to it that everything is in order. Naturally, Richard knew how much Nicholas cared for Sophie. That evening, Nicholas went to look for Sophie, who was immersed in her artwork, her concentration unbroken. As he laid eyes on her, a surge of emotion coursed through him, causing his heart to skip a beat. She was a woman of many facets, and Nicholas found himself drawn to every single one of them. Sophie sensed his presence, but she chose to finish her painting before finally turning to face him. What's wrong? Is there anything I can help you with? No, I don't need anything. I just want to sit here quietly and watch you. It would be wonderful if we could stay like this forever, Nicholas expressed, his desires simple and heartfelt, wanting nothing more than to remain by her side. When confronted with Nicholas's overwhelming affection, Sophie found herself at a loss for words. She couldn't quite grasp how to respond to his deep infatuation. That was how she was, being a naturally reserved person. Sophie's quiet demeanor was something Nicholas had grown accustomed to. Meanwhile, Tristan found himself alone in the mansion. In the past, he had never given much thought to being in solitude. However, now that Sophie was no longer there, he couldn't help but feel that the mansion seemed too vast and empty. He did not like this feeling at all. Sean went to the mansion to find Tristan, and the two of them ended up sharing a drink. Sophie will return soon. There's no need for you to be like this. Sean reassured Tristan, hoping to ease his friend's worries. There's really no need for you to act like this. I know. Knowing that she would return soon was comforting, but Tristan couldn't help but long for Sophie. It had only been 3 days since they last saw each other, yet he missed her intensely. If Sophie didn't like you, I can imagine you would have ended up like Nicholas, Sean remarked. Having an unrequited love was a pitiful thing, after all. That wouldn't happen. The reality is that I'm the man she loves. Sophie loves me, and she'll be with me for the rest of our lives. Sean merely hummed in acknowledgement before dropping the topic entirely. What about that case of yours? Isn't it quite challenging? Can you solve it? If you can't dash. Hold it right there, Mr. Tristan. You know very well what kind of person I am. No matter how hard the case is, it's no problem to me. No matter how complex the case was, Sean had confidence in his ability to unravel it. However, there was one knot in his heart that he could never untangle. The woman who had left him and fled the country. Tristan posed a question. Do you intend to remain like this for the rest of your life? If she doesn't return and you don't make an effort to find her, there will be no resolution. She doesn't want to see Mel. Sean had contemplated searching for her but ultimately decided against it when he recalled the heartbroken expression he had seen on her face. The mere thought of her caused his heart to shatter into countless fragments, leaving him in a state of excruciating pain and anguish. Thus, he could only immerse himself completely in his work, hoping to mask his pain. It was essential for two individuals to value the time they spent together, as they never knew when it might come to an end. Regretting the lost moments would serve no purpose once everything had already concluded. I wish I could hear Sophie's voice, Tristan muttered. However, deep down, he knew he still couldn't make that call. Sean said nothing in response. He, too, shared the desire to hear the voice of the woman he held close to his heart. Despite all the years that had passed, he had never changed his phone number, hoping that one day she would reach out to him. Yet, the call he yearned for never came. The next day, Sophie woke up at 8 in the morning. As she opened her eyes, she was taken aback to find Nicholas standing in her room. Restraining herself from giving him a piece of her mind, Sophie asked him, I have something to attend to at the medical association today. Do you want to go with me? Can I follow you? Didn't she always dislike me following her around? Oh gosh. I can finally accompany her. Sure, but if there's something else you need to do, then forget it. I won't force you to come with me, she said accommodatingly. No, there's nothing else I have to do. There's only you. It's always been just you. Nicholas went to change his outfit before accompanying her to the medical association. He was determined to stay by her side. After all, the people at the medical association knew that Tristan was Sophie's boyfriend, and Nicholas didn't want her to be affected by any gossip or rumors they might spread. What is the matter you have to attend to? Is it important? If it's not, we can just come back and handle it after we get married. Upon their return to Englander, Nicholas was resolved to move forward with their wedding. He couldn't bear to wait any longer and wanted to marry Sophie as soon as possible. It's very important. Let's go. Sophie's intention in bringing Nicholas to the medical association was to wipe away part of his memories, believing that it was the most suitable place for the procedure to be performed. Hurt me. Upon realizing that they were preparing to leave, Richard quickly joined them, ready to personally drive them to the medical association. Why are you following us? Go and handle the preparations for our return to Englander. We're leaving tomorrow, Nicholas instructed his assistant. Nicholas did not allow Richard to tag along, for he was aware that Sophie preferred to have privacy and did not fancy people following her around. I've already made the necessary arrangements, boss. Please allow me to come with you. If anything were to happen, I can be of help. Richard couldn't shake off his worries, fully aware that Tristan wouldn't simply let the matter slide, even though Sophie's memories had been altered. A frown etched itself on Nicholas' visage as he exclaimed with utmost confidence. I said you don't have to come with us. She won't let anyone. There was no way Richard would believe Sophie. He kept mum and fell into deep contemplation. What's wrong? My words mean nothing to you anymore, is it? Do you still see me as your boss? Nicholas was annoyed. His remark rendered Richard speechless. I'm behaving like this because I'm worried about him. Why doesn't he get it? Boss, just let him come in. I'm fine with it, as long as he doesn't come into the building of the medical association. You should understand that we don't just allow anyone to enter, Sophie said. A small smile tugged at the corner of Nicholas' lips. He enjoyed it when she expressed herself like that because it made him feel like she was supporting him, and it gave him a sense of satisfaction. Come on. Let's go. Nicholas did not want Richard to tag along because he did not want to upset Sophie, but since Sophie gave him the green light, there was no reason for him to say no. As Richard went to retrieve the car, Nicholas and Sophie waited at the entrance. When the car arrived, Nicholas courteously opened the door for her. After she got in, he took his seat beside her in the back passenger seat. Initially, Richard felt concerned, but his worries eased when Sophie allowed him to tag along. He could sense that Sophie's memory had been tampered with. However, they still needed to be cautious because several individuals in the medical association were familiar with her. It could pose a problem if someone approached her to engage in conversation. Soon, they arrived at the medical association. "Richard, wait outside. You don't need to come in with us." That was the biggest compromise Sophie could make. "Boss, I'm worried. What's wrong? Do you think I'm so useless that I can't handle the situation myself?" Nicholas raised his voice. "I'm Nicholas Sable, for God's sake. Even if there's some trouble brewing in the medical association, I've got the skills to handle it and come out on top." "All right." Richard dared not voice his opinion anymore, knowing that his employer had a fiery temper. "He'll just explode if I keep questioning him." Meanwhile, Sophie kept mum throughout their conversation. "Are we ready? Shall we head inside?" Nicholas bobbed his head in response. "All right. I'll walk you in. Since we're leaving tomorrow, I'm sure you have a lot of things to take care of and arrange." Deep in his heart, Nicholas was also worried that the situation might spiral out of control if the people from the association asked Sophie questions. Fortunately, not many people approached Sophie throughout the walk. When people saw her, they simply nodded and exchanged brief greetings. "You seem nervous," Sophie said casually. "Relax, Nicholas. They won't give you a hard time since I picked you." Nicholas flashed a grin. "Sophie, do you have any idea how happy I am? I'm the happiest person in the world right now." He was genuinely touched, for he truly enjoyed the way things were now. Sophie hummed in response before bringing him to her lab and giving him a bottle of water. "You wait here. We'll get lunch once I'm done. Are you okay with the arrangement?" she asked. "Of course. I'm willing to wait indefinitely, as long as I have you by my side." Nicholas unscrewed the bottle cap, took a refreshing sip of water, and flashed a warm smile at Sophie. He was a man who was genuinely content with simple pleasures, and his only desire was to be with Sophie. "That's all I ask for." Meanwhile, Sophie was busy attending to her tasks. Some 30 minutes later, she noticed Nicholas had drifted off to sleep on the couch. She then walked up to him upon seeing this. "Nicholas, wake up. Can you hear me, Nicholas?" He was truly asleep after drinking the water she had spiked. Meanwhile, Arius and Barney approached, aware of Sophie's ambitious undertaking for the day. While they recognized Sophie's exceptional medical brilliance, they could not help but feel concerned since it was her first attempt at hypnosis. "How is it?" Arius expressed his concern. "We're starting now. Inform Mr. Tristan and ask him to bring his men to monitor Richard. If we linger here for too long, Richard and the guards will become suspicious," Sophie said. Arius responded, "All right. I'll call Mr. Tristan right away." Upon receiving the call, Tristan brought his men over to capture Richard. Richard instantly knew something was amiss when he saw Tristan coming in his direction. "What do you think you're doing?" "Mr. Tristan, I understand this is your territory, but we haven't done anything wrong here. You better let me go." "How's boss doing inside? And what is Tristan doing here?" Tristan did not want to waste his energy talking to him. "Take him down. Teach him a lesson if he refuses to cooperate." Felix nodded and took Richard away. When Richard struggled to break free, Felix kicked him on his stomach. "Did you not understand what I said when I told you to behave? Do you think you can still run away?" Richard gasped in pain. "This man really kicked me with all his might." Felix's tone grew more menacing as he continued his threats, saying, "Listen carefully. I've been in a bad mood for the past few days, so you better cooperate with me. If you keep stepping on my toes, Don't expect me to speak to you with any kindness." He had indeed been in a foul mood. These people better not play with fire. Richard was worried about Nicholas. "I have to find a way to get to boss. He mustn't fall into their hands. I don't know what they might do to him." The guards accompanying Tristan were all highly skilled experts. Upon their arrival, they swiftly took control of the guards Richard had brought with them. Charles said, "Mr. Tristan, we managed to capture more than 30 of them, and I'm sure some are still in hiding. Rest assured, I'll definitely catch them all." Tristan hummed in acknowledgement. Sophie's absence for a mere 2 days had already driven him crazy. He just wanted to resolve the matter as soon as possible and take her home. "I just want to take her home instead of wasting my time dealing with these people." Tristan entered and saw Arius and Georgina standing outside, but Sophie was not with them. "How is it?" Tristan asked in concern. "It's still in progress, but don't worry, nothing will go wrong. Sophie knows best what she's doing," Arius responded. Meanwhile, Sophie and Barney were conducting the hypnosis session in the lab. Barney remained by Sophie's side to assist her due to his experience in the field. As for Arius, he stayed outside because he knew nothing about hypnosis. "I'm sure Sophie can handle it well." As time passed, the 3 individuals outside remained seated or stood, anxiously awaiting updates on the situation inside. After a while, the door finally swung open, revealing Sophie and Barney emerging side by side. "How is it?" "Everything went well," Arius asked. "Wiping out Nicholas' memory shouldn't pose much of a challenge. Plus, old Mr. Sable won't bring up Sophie when we return Nicholas. It'll be a walk in the park." "No problem." Sophie's face was void of color. Nicholas was so strong-willed that it took her a great deal of effort just to forget about him. Tristan's heart ached as he saw how pale she had become and went over to hold her. "Let's go. You can rest inside the lounge." "Leave everything else to me," he assured while lifting her. "He's right, Sophie. Get some rest. Everything will be just fine." Barney was absolutely certain too. "Okay." Arius shook his head when he saw Georgina spacing out. "What's wrong? Are you tired? I can take you home if you are. It's not like you have much else to do today." "I'm fine. I'm just so amazed by Sophie. It's only been a while since she picked up hypnosis, but she's doing so well. Everyone's incredible compared to me. A weakling like me has no right to be here." Arius couldn't help but laugh. "Even I'm no match for Sophie. She's always been a genius who can easily do things that others might struggle all their lives to achieve." "Yeah. If I hadn't met her, I wouldn't have made it into the medical association so easily," Georgina agreed, believing that there was no way she had made it through her own abilities alone. Hearing this, Arius shook his head again. "You're doing great, Georgina. If you haven't, we wouldn't have let you in to begin with even if you're my girlfriend," he reiterated. "Okay. He might be right. I've made lots of progress ever since I got in. I must really be qualified." Tristan carried Sophie into the lounge. "Have a good rest, and leave the rest to me." He had already gotten someone to contact Javier. As long as Javier gave the order, no one in the Sable residence would dare bring up Sophie in front of Nicholas. Nicholas would then never show up in Sophie's and Tristan's lives again from that moment on. Such a blissful feeling it was. "I know. You must be tired too. How about you get some rest as well? It'll take old Mr. Sable a while to get here, anyway." With that, Tristan lay on the bed next to her. "You have no idea how much torment I went through the past 2 days, Sophie. There's no way I'd be able to keep living if I lost you." Thankfully, he was the man Sophie loved. He would probably go mad otherwise. That was exactly the kind of person he was. Sophie pecked him on the lips. "I told you I'd never forget you as long as I live. You're already a part of my deepest memories." She loved him so much and would never forget him that easily. "Okay." Tristan hugged her tightly, only being able to feel her presence this way. "I love you, Sophie." "I love you too." The woman was so exhausted that she dozed off shortly after, and Tristan lay on his side to watch over her. He swore to never get her involved in such things again. She had to be so worn out that she would require a long time to get better. Surely, this was taxing on her. After sleeping for an hour, Sophie got out of bed, presuming that Nicholas would have woken up by now. "Why don't you sleep a little more? He can't cause any trouble while he's here," Tristan suggested. There was nothing to be afraid of. "It's fine. I'll go check on him." In any case, she had wronged Nicholas too. "Do you want me to come with you?" "I don't think you should. He might get worked up. It was better not to have so many people provoking Nicholas." "Okay. You can go deal with his employees instead. As long as you take care of Richard, the others wouldn't dare say much else." Richard was truly a key figure in this ordeal. "I will." As the two went their separate ways, Nicholas woke up from what felt like an extremely long nap. Yet, he had forgotten why he was here and felt awful. "What am I doing here?" he asked Aureus immediately, still remembering the latter. "This is the medical association. You're obviously here to be treated." "Treated? Why? I don't remember anything." Nicholas couldn't believe his ears. "'Cause you're a madman," Aureus snapped. There was no other way to describe that man. Sophie wouldn't have had to perform such a risky procedure if you were a little saner. "Do you have a death wish?" Nicholas asked frostily. "How senseless could you be, Nicholas? I'm telling you the truth, but you still think you know better." Nicholas pondered for a moment. "Dad always wanted me to see a psychiatrist, but I never listened. Did I choose to come here out of my own will?" Sophie walked in at that moment, snapping him out of his thoughts. He instantly noted how gorgeous the woman looked. Her face was a little ashen, but that didn't take away any of her beauty. "Who are you? Have we met before?" Nicholas gazed at her skeptically. There was no way he'd forget such a beautiful woman if he had ever met her, right? Sophie remained silent. From this, she knew that the hypnosis was a success. "It looks like he's completely forgotten about me. I'm your attending doctor." "Oh." Nicholas didn't have much of a reaction. "Then can I leave now?" He really wanted to get out of there. There was something about this place that felt so suffocating, and he was close to losing his mind. "Not yet, but you may go when your family comes to pick you up." Sophie picked up a needle and injected him with it. "What did you just jab me with?" The man's expression clouded over instantly. "Don't panic. This is just something that will make you feel better." Nicholas kept his gaze on Sophie, seemingly deep in thought. Seeing that made Aureus tense up. He's really forgotten about her, right? He'd better not remember her ever again. "I'll leave the rest to you. Call me if anything happens." Sophie left after being sure of the results. Upon being drugged, Nicholas began to drift off. Aureus finally breathed a sigh of relief as he watched the other man lose consciousness. He really didn't know what to say about this person. Then, he went to look for Sophie. "He's asleep now. He's forgotten about you, so what's left is to make sure he doesn't fall for you again. Otherwise, everything they had done so far would be for naught." Sophie shot him a glance. "Am I that charming? How could he fall for me again now that he's forgotten all about me?" "That's exactly how charming you are. You don't even know how much trouble you're capable of." "You're the troublemaker," Sophie retorted. "Watch him closely." "I'm tired, so I'm going to go get some more rest." "Fine. Go ahead and get some rest. I will watch over him." Upon seeing that he had been brought before Tristan, Richard instantly knew that Sophie's memory was still intact, and that shouldn't have allowed Nicholas to go in there on his own. "Mr. Tristan, what are you doing? If anything happens to our boss on your turf, old Mr. Sable won't let you off." Tristan might be a powerful man, but he had family members too. It would not be a difficult task for the Sable family to get rid of Tristan's family. "Richard, you are a very loyal man." "What do you mean by that? Cut to the chase, please." I don't have time for vague explanations. Richard was not a man who fancied beating around the bush. Nicholas has lost all memory of Sophie. Right now, all you have to do is to bring him back to Englander. In the future, don't ever mention Sophie's name in front of him again. Naturally, Tristan didn't wish to waste any time and got straight to the point. What? Richard could not believe his ears. What have you done to my boss? We have selectively erased certain parts of his memories. Going forward, he will lead a normal life, which is also the wish of old Mr. Sable. Tristan's subordinate handed Richard the phone. Javier had already found out about everything. Richard, do as Mr. Tristan says. I will come and get Nicholas. It had always been Javier's wish to forget about Sophie. Now that someone had accomplished that for him, he couldn't be happier. After all, it would not affect Nicholas in any way as he would only forget one person. Old Mr. Sable. What's wrong? Richard. Are you going to defy me now? Richard had no choice but to agree under Javier's pressure. Nevertheless, it wasn't necessarily a bad thing for Nicholas to forget about Sophie. It was a painful thing to be in love with someone who did not love you back, and Richard did not see a need for his boss to suffer such a cruel fate. After all, Nicholas could have any girl he wanted. That night, Javier arrived in front of Richard. Richard, you have always been by Nicholas' side. You must know that loving Sophie is a painful thing for him. Since that's the case, it will be better for him to forget about her. In the future, don't ever mention Sophie in front of him again. Understand? That was the best outcome for everyone. As far as the Sable family and Nicholas were concerned, forgetting about Sophie would be less painful. Understood. Richard, being a man of few words, could only comply with the orders at that moment. Moreover, he saw it as a promising start for his boss. All right. Let's go get Nicholas and bring him home, Javier exclaimed, his mood uplifted. He looked forward to his son's renewed focus on his career, leaving behind the distractions of love relationships. Before visiting Nicholas, Javier decided to meet with Sophie. As he laid eyes on her, something had shifted within him, and he found himself seeing Sophie in a different light. Sophie, have his memories truly been erased? Yes, only the memories related to me have been erased. You don't need to worry, Sophie assured him. After all, she had no intention of causing any harm to Nicholas. All right, I understand. The relationship between Javier and Sophie had never been particularly wonderful, so there wasn't much to say between them now. I will take him with me. From now on, there will be nothing between the two of you, Javier stated firmly, his words carrying a sense of relief. It was clear that he saw this as a positive development, putting an end to any lingering connection between Nicholas and Sophie. There wasn't anything between us to begin with, Sophie replied. She had never harbored any romantic feelings for Nicholas, but it seemed that Javier had always doubted her words. Although Javier did not wish to see his son being in a relationship with Sophie, he couldn't help but express his dissatisfaction toward her attitude. You know, my son isn't as bad as you think. Why don't you like him? I just don't like him. There is no other reason. After that, Javier went to get Nicholas. The latter furrowed his brows when he noticed his father approaching. What are you doing here? I've come to get you, was Javier's response. The encounter between father and son had an air of tension, as if a conflict was brewing. Finally able to leave the place, Nicholas rose to his feet and left without looking back. Seeing this, Javier was filled with relief. He must have really forgotten about her then. Otherwise, he wouldn't leave Sophie's side. Richard was waiting outside. As soon as he spotted his boss stepping out, he quickly approached him. Boss, let's head back. They were not on their turf. Their place was Englander, where they held the power to do as they pleased. Nicholas said nothing after getting into the car. Richard, am I here to see a doctor? How come I don't remember anything? To that, Richard nodded. Boss, you are really here to see the doctor. As far as Richard was concerned, it was best for Nicholas to forget about Sophie. In fact, it was better for him to focus on his career. He wasn't cut out for love, anyway. After Nicholas left, both Barney and Arius heaved a sigh of relief. As for Sophie, she unlocked another new skill. Sophie, you've truly never let anyone down before. Is there anything she cannot do? Having some medical knowledge really helped, said Sophie. To her, hypnosis was not at all a challenging task. All right. You should go get some rest. There's no need for you to come to the medical association for the next 2 days. All right. Thank you, Dr. Smith. The hypnosis session was exhausting for Sophie, and she was truly tired. In fact, she was so tired that she did not want to move an inch. Sensing her exhaustion, Tristan went over and lifted her into his arms. What are you doing? I can walk on my own. Put me down. Everyone's looking. I still have to work here in the future. It's fine. Let them watch. You're tired, so I'll carry you. With that, Tristan carried her out of the building. While holding the woman in his arms, he noticed that she had gotten skinnier again. The realization only made his heart ache for her. It wasn't until they arrived at the car that Tristan finally set her down. All right. Let's head home now. Okay. Both Tristan and Sophie returned to the mansion. After a shower, the latter quickly drifted off to sleep, having been utterly exhausted by the events of the day. As for Tristan, he went online to order some groceries. He planned to cook a sumptuous meal for Sophie that night so that she could recover her energy. Upon finding out that Sophie was back, Isabel hurried over to see her. However, when Tristan saw that it was her who had come to visit, he shut the door in her face. Isabel continued to knocking on the door. What on earth is Uncle Tristan doing? I came all the way here after dropping all of the work I have on hand because I'm worried about Sophie. Yet, he's refusing to let me in. How could he do this to me? Uncle Tristan, what are you doing? Open the door. Do you hear me? This is too much. Sophie doesn't belong to him alone. How can he take up all of her time? Unfortunately, no matter how much she knocked on the door, Tristan refused to open up. It was as if he could not hear her at all. Isabel's hands were red from the relentless knocking. This is too much. I'll definitely tell Sophie how you treated me, exclaimed Isabel angrily. However, no matter what she said, Tristan simply refused to open the door for her. Isabel kicked the door several times in anger. Still, Tristan wouldn't open up even after she booted the door until her leg hurt. A dejected Isabel dialed Sophie's number, but the latter didn't pick up her phone. In the end, Isabel had no choice but to go back to the company. She reckoned Sophie was still asleep, so she didn't want to disturb her. Xandra halted Isabel when she saw Isabel returning not long after leaving. Didn't you say you had something important to attend to? Isabel felt aggrieved. There wasn't anything important actually. I was just worried about Sophie and wanted to visit her, but I didn't even get to meet her. Taking in her demeanor, Xandra almost burst out laughing. Xandra, let me tell you what happened. My uncle Tristan is really a jerk. He doesn't want me to bother Sophie when I'm just concerned about her. Why else would I have made time to visit her? Xandra patted Isabel's face dotingly. All right. Focus on your dance practice since you're back. I recently secured you a role in a variety show. It's a singing program that I think you'll like. Isabel was indeed very popular at that moment, but she still needed to polish her singing skills. After racking her brain relentlessly, Xandra decided to arrange for Isabel to take part in a variety show. I don't want to join a variety show. I think I'm doing fine as of now, really. Mark and the others didn't participate in variety shows either, right? Whenever they had the time, they would focus on writing songs, and their careers are progressing well now. This will be beneficial to your singing skills. You're very popular now, but who can guarantee how long this sensation will last? Isabel, if you wish to stay in the entertainment industry for the long term, you must be competent, got it? Otherwise, no resources would help if she didn't have the skill. Okay, I understand. I'll consider it. Isabel's determination wavered. She had always wondered if she would be that successful if it weren't for Sophie. Now that Xandra said the same thing, she realized she had to work harder instead of staying idle. You can ask Sophie if you don't believe me. She will definitely agree with my plan. This variety show is different from others. Ms. Yandel, of course, I have faith in you. Ms. Yandel is the best crisis manager in the world. Naturally, I'm delighted she's willing to help me with my career planning. Okay. If you have no objections, make sure to prepare well for the show and don't get eliminated in the first episode. That will be so embarrassing. All right. I got it. Am I really that bad? Getting eliminated in the first episode will indeed be quite humiliating. Subsequently, Isabel went to practice her dancing. Her manager smiled contentedly when she saw how hard-working Isabel was. Ms. Yandel, Isabel is actually very hard-working already. You shouldn't have told her those things because that would frighten her. Isabel was just an inexperienced young girl to begin with. I didn't expect you to be so protective of her. If you genuinely care about her, you should tell her the truth. It will be too late to regret it by the time she gets eliminated from the entertainment industry. Contrition at a later time would serve no purpose. As adults, they should bear the responsibility for their actions. Ms. Yandel, I understand what you're saying. Don't worry. I'll plan well. All of us rely on TS Entertainment to make a living now. The company has indeed treated us well, so we should work harder too. When Sophie woke up, she noticed multiple missed calls from Isabel. Sophie thought something bad happened, so she immediately returned the call. Hello, Isabel? Why did you call me so many times? Is something wrong? Sophie was worried about a crisis since Isabel was now working in the entertainment industry. It's nothing. I was just worried about you, so I went over to visit you, but Uncle Tristan wouldn't let me in. In the end, I left without getting to see you. Grievances churned within Isabel as she spoke. Sophie, do you know how Uncle Tristan treated me? He was so mean. You must help me teach him a lesson. Sophie almost laughed out loud. All right. Rest assured. I'll definitely help you teach him a lesson. In fact, Sophie knew Tristan was just concerned she might not get sufficient quality rest. The past 2 days had undoubtedly been rough on her, so she needed a good rest. Okay. Can I come to visit you tonight? Isabel was persistent as she missed Sophie a lot after not seeing her for so many days. Sure, you can come over tonight. I've been sleeping all afternoon, and I think I've had enough sleep by now. Great. I'll go and visit you when I'm done here. Do you want me to bring you anything to eat? That's not necessary. There's plenty of food here. You can just come here straight. All right then. Remember to open the door for me later. Otherwise, I won't get to go in. Isabel was still furious when she recalled the unpleasant experience earlier in the afternoon. Okay. After hanging up the phone, Sophie got out of bed and changed into a fresh pair of clothes before leaving the room. When she reached the living room, she didn't see Tristan around but caught whiffs of the aroma of food. She walked to the kitchen and found him making soup. Instead of getting some rest while she slept, he went to the kitchen to prepare soup for her. Sophie approached him and wrapped her arms around his waist from behind. Why didn't you take a break? She asked. You're awake? I don't need to rest. I've been taking it easy these past few days. Tristan, I miss you too. They had only been apart for 3 days, yet the longing was driving her mad. Tristan put down the ladle. Initially, he wanted to taste the soup, but at that moment, he only yearned to hold her tightly. Are you really well rested? She had no idea how terribly his heart ached when he saw her coming out with an ashen face. He couldn't bear to see her so exhausted when she could have led an easy life. However, she always pushed herself to the limit each time. Yes. I'm fine. I'm standing before you in the pink of health, aren't I? Tristan lifted her and plopped her down on the dining table. Then, he stood between her legs, cupped her face, and kissed her gently. Sophie knew he had been under a lot of pressure during those 3 days, worrying about what would happen if she failed and forgot him. She reciprocated his kiss. "This is a man I deeply love and cherish." The couple indulged themselves in that intimate moment for a long time. Right then, someone knocked on the door. Tristan grimaced when he heard the sound. What's wrong with these people? Don't they understand these few days of separation have made our hearts grow fonder of one another? Are they tired of living, constantly coming here and interrupting us? Sophie suppressed her laughter. He looks so cute like that. She quickly pecked him on the lips. That's enough. I think it should be Isabel. I'll go open the door. With that, Sophie got off the table and tidied her clothes before she went to answer the door. Sure enough, Sophie opened the door and found Isabel standing outside. That was fast. She must have come right after hanging up. As soon as Sophie opened the door, Isabel leaped into the former's arms. "Do you know how worried I've been for you, Sophie? I couldn't even eat." Sophie smiled. "Didn't I tell you no harm would come to me?" Despite that, they're still so worried. "I was afraid that something unforeseen might happen to you. You've no idea how the incident in Jetroina scared me." "Come inside." Isabel entered. "Where is Uncle Tristan? It was too much of him to stop me from coming in. Why do people like him exist?" "I'm not trying to compete with him. I just wanted to visit." "Was that necessary?" "He's in the kitchen." "Oh." Despite having complained about her uncle at length over the phone, she did not dare say much else upon finding out that he was in the kitchen. "Yes, that is cowardly of me. But what choice do I have? Uncle Tristan scares me." Isabel snuggled on the couch. "Let's have dinner tonight. It's been a while since we had a meal together. By the way, Ms. Yandel arranged a program for me. Do you think I should take it? Since Ms. Yandel was the one who arranged it for you, I think it should be fine. Zandra is a legend in the entertainment industry. Nothing would go wrong if she were the one to make the arrangements. I really wanted to perform in Jetroina. You don't have many fans there, so there's no rush. Isabel might be very popular in Chonea, but she would not do too well in Jetroina as she has fewer fans there." "Is that so?" "All right, I'll wait a little longer then." "Why are you in such a hurry to perform in Jetroina, anyway? Are you trying to avoid Felix?" Knowing Isabel, Sophie saw through her intentions at once. "I don't get what you are saying. I've broken up with him. Why should I avoid him if there's nothing going on between us? Besides, I can't be avoiding him former, can I?" Sophie poured her a glass of water. "Are you two really breaking up?" Having been busy with the incident with Nicholas, she had not managed. Isabel must be having an awful couple of days. Isabel nodded. I have made up my mind. Breaking up is for the best. There's nothing left to salvage. I just want to focus on singing right now, Sophie." "Singing would not hinder your love life at all. Put it this way, Felix is a decent man. You might never find somebody like him again if you let him go." Everybody knew how gentle and sweet Felix was with Isabel. Isabel fell silent. "Could you tell me what happened?" Sophie coaxed in an attempt to put in a good word for Felix. "Nothing much. It's just the feeling that we may not be compatible. Seeing as it's so difficult being with me, we're better off apart." Sophie was momentarily struck dumb. What sort of an excuse is that? "I know I'm not all that good, Sophie, but I don't want to be with him anymore. It's not like I have fallen for somebody else. I just want to end things between us. We don't have to discuss this any further since you've made up your mind. Your happiness is what matters. Besides, Felix is not going to give up that easily." Tristan emerged from the kitchen, having just rinsed some strawberries and cherries for Sophie, her favorite fruits. "Don't waste your breath with her on this. She's a fool to let a good man like Felix go and will come crying soon enough." Tristan did not hold back in speaking his mind regarding Isabel. Taking a bite of the strawberry from the platter she had helped herself with, Isabel scoffed. Even if I do, I won't come crying to you. I won't bother with you when you do that. Felix did his best, for he had tried to fulfill her every whim. His efforts were plain for all to see. Tristan brought a strawberry to Sophie's lips. Open up. Sophie was speechless. Isabel is still here. Furthermore, she's still mourning the loss of her relationship. There's no need to provoke her. Just ignore her. Sophie took a bite of the strawberry, and Tristan finished the rest. Rolling her eyes, Isabel turned away. Must you two act all lovey-dovey in front of me? I'll dash. You'll leave. There's the door. You can show yourself out. I'm not leaving. I'm having dinner here tonight. If you bully me again, Uncle Tristan, I'll tell Grandpa. I'm not a pushover, okay? Sarah came over later that night. As Tristan had only made soup, she ended up cooking. Aureus arrived soon after that. He even brought Georgina with him. As it was her first time meeting the others, Georgina was a little shy. Aureus wrapped his arm around her shoulder as he introduced her to Isabel and Sarah in a blatant display of his affection. This is Georgina Bates, my girlfriend. What do you think? Isn't she beautiful? Georgina blushed at his words. I'm no beauty compared to Sophie and these other two ladies. Stop it, Aureus. Why? You're my girlfriend, aren't you? Besides, you are pretty. What's wrong with wanting to show off my girlfriend? Georgina's cheeks flushed a deeper shade of crimson. I'm nothing compared to them. In my eyes, you're more beautiful than any of them. Beauty is in the eye of the beholder, after all. Georgina turned shy hearing that. She never thought Aureus would have this side after they began dating, though this version of him gave her a sense of security. I didn't think you could have gotten a girl of your own, Aureus. Sarah teased. Do you remember asking me to marry you? Aureus was rendered speechless. Stop messing around, Sarah. What if Georgina gets angry and punishes me when we get home? Punish him when you get home, Georgina. Don't hold back. Easygoing and friendly, Isabel had become acquainted with Georgina even though it was only their first encounter. You're all going too far. You owe me a girlfriend if you scare this one away. Something very important suddenly occurred to Isabel. By the way, Sophie, I want to be your bridesmaid. What about the groomsmen? Can Felix be one? Sophie asked with a smile. I don't care who becomes a groomsman as long as I get to be a bridesmaid and give you away. At the mention of the wedding, the group began discussing animatedly. That won't do. I want to be a groomsman, Aureus said at once. Having always seen Sophie as his younger sister, he wanted to be the one to give her away. Sophie did not have much of an opinion regarding those details. It doesn't matter who becomes our groomsmen and bridesmaids as long as they are all good friends of ours. Georgina would like to be a bridesmaid as well, Aureus chimed in when he noticed that she was too shy to speak up. What's the meaning of this, Aureus? What about me? I don't care what happens. I will be a bridesmaid. It's not like there can only be one groomsman or bridesmaid, Sarah said instinctively upon noticing their agitation. We can simply have several more of each. That's right. We'll have 3 groomsmen and 3 bridesmaids. Tristan thought it was a lucky number. He never used to believe in luck. After meeting Sophie, however, he began to wonder if there was some truth to those superstitions. The girls chatted in the living room while the men stepped outside for a cigarette. Congratulations, Sophie. Things are looking great for you, Georgina gushed. All of them knew what kind of a person Sophie was. She might seem cold and unfeeling to somebody who did not know her. With the passage of time, however, one would find her to be a true friend indeed. That was why her friends were willing to go to the ends of the earth for her. You will find happiness with Aureus too, Georgina. This is how he has always been. He might have hurt you before, but he will treasure you now that he's sure you are the one. Aureus had always looked out for Sophie, and she wanted him to find happiness. I do feel lucky being with him. I don't wish for much. All I want is to be with Arius. Sarah and Isabel did not speak. The latter, especially, was particularly quiet. I, on the other hand, may remain single for the rest of my life. Nobody else would tolerate me. What's the matter? Penny for your thoughts. Sarah saw through Isabel's thoughts at once. Things were going well with Felix, weren't they? Why did it have to end up this way? Have you heard, Isabel? What? Isabel did not look interested in anything at the moment. Felix might be going to Fandar. Sarah had heard it from Tristan. It was strange as Felix was the one who made the request. There were indeed matters at Fandar to be taken care of, so either he or Charles had to be there. Moreover, it was not a pleasant task. That was the reason for Charles's reluctance to take the job, yet Felix had volunteered to do it. Isabel took a sip of wine. Oh, where he chooses to go is his business. How is it any of mine? I'm just not in the habit of realizing he's no longer by my side, that's all. There is no other reason. A habit is something frightening indeed. However, no matter how frightening it may seem, I will eventually get used to something else. Fandar is quite dangerous. You two should talk things out if there is anything you want to say to each other before he leaves. Who knows if there might be a chance to salvage the relationship. Oh, come on, Aunt Sarah. Don't frighten me. Though I've never been there, I know Felix can take care of the task and handle himself. Isabel was a little restless, so she rose to her feet and walked to the French windows. Noticing her despondency, Sophie followed her. It doesn't matter whether or not you decide to get back together. You should talk things out lest there are any misunderstandings between the two of you. Isabel took a deep breath. I know. At that exact moment, Felix came to see Tristan, possibly for some matters concerning his trip to Fandar. Sarah opened the door and saw him enter with some documents in hand. Have you decided to go there? Fandar was not a good place to be. With its frequent wars, nobody knew what would happen the following day. Felix nodded. They need someone there. Besides, I have nothing much going on of late, so I thought I would be of help. I will go crazy if I remain here. It's not a nice feeling to have at all. Hence, it's best to just leave this place. Then you should talk to Isabel. I'd already put in a word for you. I will. Let me speak to Tristan first. Instead of going to see Isabel, Felix went directly to Tristan. Since she wanted to break up, we'll have a temporary break. It'll only make her more frustrated if this goes on. It is never my intention to upset her. Isabel bit her lower lip as she watched Felix go upstairs without so much as a glance at her. Isn't this what I wanted? I'm going home. Suddenly, she did not wish to stay there another second longer. She wanted to be alone. Leave with me in a while. I don't feel good letting you go home on your own, seeing as you have had some wine. Sarah did not agree. What is it that cannot be discussed? This isn't helping the situation. What are you doing, Aunt Sarah? I can go home on my own. Don't worry about me. Since you were the one who wanted to end things, Isabel, what are you afraid of? Sarah said pointedly. What do you mean, Aunt Sarah? Who says I'm afraid? I'm not afraid of anything. What do I have to be afraid of? The last two sentences sounded more like she was reassuring herself. Sophie grabbed her shoulder. That's right. You are not afraid of anything. We're here for you. What do you have to fear? As long as we are around, nobody will hurt you. Actually, Felix never hurt me. Sarah and Sophie exchanged a glance. This girl. What's the matter with her? Despite being protective of Felix, she still insists on breaking up. Isn't she asking for it? Why is she being so cruel to herself? There's no need at all for that. Tristan glanced at the folder Felix was holding as soon as the latter appeared. Have you made up your mind? He asked, raising his eyebrows. Yes. There is no need to beat around the bush between sworn brothers. All right. Go then. Bertram will be there to help you. The situation in Fandar is indeed a prickly one. That is why out of the four of them, one must go. Initially, Tristan had wanted to personally go as he would never delegate dangerous missions like that to his men. Well, seeing that Felix insisted on going, I will respect his decision. Is this because of Isabel? Have you decided to take a break? Not entirely. Since there are matters in Fandar to be taken care of, somebody has to be there to settle them. I think I am capable enough to handle it. Having been by Mr. Tristan's side long enough, I now have the ability to deal with problems like this. Very well. Let me know immediately if you run into something you couldn't handle. I can fly over any time. There's nothing much to be said amongst brothers. A show of support is all that matters. Tristan told Felix the things Felix needed to look out for and patted Felix's shoulder. As a matter of fact, splitting up with Isabel isn't necessarily bad. We've spoiled her since she was little. You can find someone better. Tristan said. Isabel isn't the only woman in the world, so he should look elsewhere. After all, he's capable of getting any woman he wants. Heck, plenty of women in Jipsdale are eager to marry him. She's the only one I want though, Felix replied. I fell for her a long time ago, and it took me so much effort to get into a relationship with her. Who would have thought this would be the outcome? I am good enough, so this isn't her fault. You guys shouldn't lecture her anymore after this, Felix added. Although we've already broken up, I don't want her to face the aftermath alone. Don't you see? You spoil her. That's why you guys aren't together anymore, Tristan uttered. Don't you spoil Sophie too? Aren't you guys doing well? Felix retorted. Who wouldn't spoil the woman they love? Fine. After all, you asked for this, Tristan answered. There's no use in saying anything further. With that, they went downstairs. Since it was getting late, it was time to leave. Felix glanced at Isabel and offered, Isabel, I'm already going to Fandar tomorrow. Let me give you a ride. Isabel accepted the offer and went out. All right then. Since I drove myself here, I can go home on my own. Sarah knew Felix wanted to have a talk with Isabel, so she decided to give them some time alone. I should also get going now. By the way, there's still some time before the wedding, but perhaps you guys should pick a spot to take your wedding photos. After all, it's nice to take wedding photos at this time of the year, Sarah suggested to Tristan and Sophie. It's better to not leave things until the last minute. Okay. Got it, Tristan replied. I'll surely get on with it. I can't wait to see Sophie in her wedding gown. After Arius and Georgina had also left, Tristan and Sophie were the only ones left in the living room. Let's plan for our wedding photo shoots. Now that they were alone, Tristan whipped out his phone and went online to look for locations suitable for wedding photo shoots. Okay. Sure. Sophie had no objections to that, so she snuggled into the couch with Tristan to find a location to take wedding photos. Would you like to take the photos locally or abroad? Tristan could do either one because he wasn't busy. Let's just do it here. I think we have plenty of nice spots locally. Besides, I don't want to go through the trouble of taking the photos abroad, Sophie answered. It's so tiring to fly in and out of the country, so getting it settled locally is better. Hearing that, Tristan wrapped his arm around her shoulders and asked, Are you not looking forward to it, Sophie? Tristan was feeling hurt. I know how tiring it is to get married, but she's marrying me. Does she not look forward to it at all? I do. Who says I'm not looking forward to it? Sophie argued. Tristan kissed her cheek as a punishment and questioned, Is this what you look like when you're excited? Sophie nodded firmly. Yes. This is exactly what I look like when I'm excited. What's the matter? Do you have a problem with how I look? No. Why would I? Where would you like to go for our photo shoot? I'll go wherever you want to go evidently. Tristan was very keen. I've already chosen a few spots. Check out the places I've listed. What have you done? Did we not just start talking about this? How did you come up with these places so soon? She asked. Tristan kept mum. Could it be that you've already thought about this? All right. You caught me, so I will just come clean. I indeed have a few places in mind already. Don't look at me like that. You're making me blush. In truth, Tristan had already thought about all the wedding details. Sophie pushed him and got on top of him on the couch and exclaimed, "You're so cute, Tristan. Since you've already planned the wedding to a T, what's left for me to do?" "Absolutely nothing. You just need to follow my plan and be the most beautiful bride." Tristan had indeed planned everything out. "Tristan, you'll spoil me. What if I end up bullying you in the future?" "I don't mind getting bullied by you. I really don't mind." Gosh. Sophie was moved. Tristan is such an outstanding man, but he's so humble when he's with me. Meanwhile, Felix stopped the car in front of the Lombard Manor. "I'm leaving for Fandar, Isabel. I'm sorry you have to hear it from others." Isabel bit her lower lip and tried to squeeze out a smile. However, she couldn't do it because she was devastated. "I've been the happiest when I was with you, Isabel. Back when we were together, I really thought we could spend the rest of our lives together. I didn't mean to disappoint you in the end." Felix uttered. "I'm such a failure. Despite having given it my best, it was still not enough." "Stop saying that, Felix. You've been magnificent. I never knew how to appreciate you. Thus, I know it was tough for you. I guess I just need to grow up." Isabel answered. Felix did nothing wrong. In fact, he did everything he could to make our relationship work. "Oh, what have I done?" Felix was heartbroken when he saw the look on her face. "Don't do that to yourself, Isabel. I was at fault because I made you sad. You must find yourself a man who treats you right in the future." Isabel was at a loss for words. What's making him say these things? "I'm leaving tomorrow, so I won't be by your side to protect you, Isabel. If you need help, look for Sophie. She'll be able to protect you." Felix had always been jealous of the relationship Isabel had with Sophie. At that moment, however, he was feeling grateful. Fortunately, Isabel still has Sophie by her side after this. "Yes, I know. Don't worry about me. I'll be fine without you." With that, Isabel opened the car door and hopped off. Why is he telling me all that? He's already leaving tomorrow. He should just leave. After all, I'm used to being alone. Felix's heart ached as he watched her walk off stubbornly. Hence, he rolled down the window and said, "I love you, Isabel. I was the happiest man when we were together." Isabel abruptly halted in her tracks. "Why are you telling me this? If you want to leave, just leave. Idiot. Did you think I would be waiting for your return now that you've said that? No. I won't wait for you." Isabel was down with a fever the night Felix left. It was Sarah who found out that Isabel was ill. In fact, her body temperature shot up to 39 degrees. Isabel. Sarah didn't know what to say to Isabel. She wanted to break up with him. Now that Felix is gone, she's here mumbling his name. Why did she do this to herself? Isabel was basically drifting in and out of consciousness that night due to her high fever. In fact, she worked the day. Initially, she thought she would have no problem losing Felix. However, she started feeling unwell that evening, so she went up to her room to rest after dinner. Sarah called the family doctor the second she found out Isabel had a fever. Sarah didn't mean to wake anybody else, but William woke up because he was a light sleeper. When William saw the doctor, he couldn't help asking the doctor, "Why are you here at this hour? Has someone fallen sick?" "I think Isabel has fallen sick. I'll check on her. Don't worry." The family doctor made his way toward Isabel's room. William obviously got worried, so he followed the family doctor. When William saw Isabel's reddened cheeks, he grew even more worried. "What's going on?" Sarah shrugged in response. "She'll be fine, Dad. It's just a fever. The doctor will sort her out. Go back to sleep, okay? I'll take care of her." The family doctor diagnosed Isabel with a fever and prescribed her some medicine. 2 tablets will do it. Sarah helped Isabel up and fed her the pills, but Isabel couldn't stop mumbling Felix's name. What happened to her relationship with Felix? Did Felix wrong her? William asked. That has to be it. Otherwise, why would this happen to Belle? I don't know, Dad. It's their relationship, so we don't get to say who's wrong and who's right. Stay out of it, okay? Sarah said. I knew Felix wasn't a reliable man. William was displeased because of what his granddaughter had become ever since she got into a relationship with Felix. Upon knowing that Isabel was fine, William went back to sleep, leaving Sarah to take care of Isabel. On the next day, Tristan and Sophie went to visit Isabel after learning about her condition. Due to the fever the night before, Isabel wasn't in good shape that morning, and her face was as pale as a sheet. Isabel squeezed out a smile when she saw Sophie. I'm all right, Sophie. I guess it's just fatigue kicking in. Isabel exclaimed. Why did they come to see me? It was just a fever. Rest well then. I've already spoken to Xandra and told her to rearrange your schedule. Sophie wasn't a bad employer, so she wouldn't take advantage of her subordinate. That's not necessary. I'll rest today, but I'm going back to work tomorrow, Isabel assured. I'm actually feeling fine. You can't do this to yourself, Isabel. Felix has only been gone for a day, and you've already fallen sick. What if he finds out about this? Sophie asked. Don't tell him any of this. I didn't fall sick because of him, Isabel uttered. Fandar is a dangerous place, so Felix needs to focus instead of thinking about me. Is that so? Sophie questioned. Isabel didn't sound convincing at all. Yes, Sophie. I'm drained. Let me take a nap. Isabel wanted to stop thinking about Felix. God help me. I only discovered that I couldn't let go of my feelings toward him now that he had left. Okay. Rest well. Knowing that Isabel was fine, Sophie breathed a sigh of relief. At the same time, William had instructed Tristan to meet him in the study. Didn't you know Felix was Isabel's boyfriend? Why did you let him go to Fandar? What if something bad happens to that boy? What's going to happen to Isabel? William queried. Tristan was rendered speechless. I didn't ask him to go there. Dad, Felix decided to go there himself. Besides, it was Isabel who wanted the breakup. I have nothing to do with this, Tristan argued. How could you say that? Would Felix and Isabel have gotten together if not for you? How am I the reason? Tristan was feeling helpless. They decided to get into a relationship. What happened has nothing to do with me. At the end of the day, you're Isabel's uncle. Hence, it's your responsibility to take care of her. That includes her relationship. William retorted. I don't want to see my granddaughter suffer emotionally. Words eluded Tristan. Was I supposed to meddle in her love life? Listen to me. I don't want to see anybody hurting Belle. Otherwise, I'll make life difficult for all of you, William uttered. At that moment, Tristan decided to keep his mouth shut. What's the matter? What's on your mind? You'd better speak now, William ordered. I don't have anything to say because I would never doubt your words, Tristan replied. Isn't that what he wants to hear? I have to look for Sophie now. After all, I need to look after my wife, Tristan continued. Then he went to look for Sophie. She was scrolling through her phone in his room when he found her. Is Isabel okay? Yes. Her fever has subsided, so she's fine. I think a good day of rest ought to do it. What's wrong? Did old Mr. Lombard reprimand you? She asked. Yes. He told me to meddle in Isabel's love life. How could I possibly do that? Tristan complained. How am I supposed to do that when Isabel has an attitude problem? Sophie giggled when she saw how frustrated Tristan was. Only old Mr. Lombard can do this to him. What's with you? Don't you feel bad for me? Of course I do. Why don't you just get Felix to come back? Sophie asked. No. How can I? Felix has only just arrived there. He should make use of such a good opportunity to improve himself. Since he's already there, he should solve the problems there before coming back. Well, there's nothing I can do if old Mr. Lombard decides to make life difficult for you then. You're right. Forget about him. After all, there's not much he can do to me. Frankly, I think Felix and Isabel are bound to get back together in the end, Tristan said. I doubt Felix will give up on Isabel. It's just that I don't know what he told her before he left. Still, what's the matter with the both of them? Why can't they just be with each other and cherish each other? Why are they messing with each other all the time? Tristan grumbled. The worst thing is that we're now also affected. Isabel recovered fully the next day, but she was still feeling lethargic. Sophie, I'm fit to go back to work now. Are you going to the office? Let's go together. Sophie shook her head immediately upon hearing that. Isabel, I'm not an evil employer. I've already cleared your schedule for the next 2 days. You ought to rest. That's not necessary, Isabel argued. I'm feeling good, so I don't need to rest anymore. What are you on about? You must stay home for the next couple of days to rest. Perhaps you should even rest for a week, William demanded. How could she be thinking about work when she had just fallen sick? Does she have a death wish? Isabel didn't dare to utter a word when she saw how angry William was. Keep your mind off of things and rest at home. At worst, I'll invest in your next song, William uttered. After all, that's how things work in the entertainment industry. Isabel was bereft of words. Where did Grandpa learn that from? That's not how things work in the entertainment industry. Okay, Grandpa. I understand, Isabel replied. If I don't take some time off work, everyone will start coming at me. What you are doing in the afternoon, Sophie? Isabel asked. I'm going to check out some wedding gowns because we're taking wedding photos soon, Sophie answered. Since I have nothing going on at the medical association for the next couple of days, I guess I should start picking my wedding gown. After all, Tristan already had everything planned out. Let me go with you. If I were to stay home, I would be bored to death. Isabel didn't want to be home alone. Sure. That sounds good. Sophie knew Isabel was moody. Isabel should go out to clear her mind. She would have more problems if she were to stay home and sulk all day long. In the afternoon, Tristan brought Sophie and Isabel to the most famous bridal house in Jipsdale to try on wedding gowns. In fact, plenty of socialites and daughters of wealthy families in Jipsdale took their wedding photos there. The brides all looked fabulous in the photos because they had excellent photographers. Therefore, not only did one have to be rich to take wedding photos there, but one would also be put on a waiting list. Upon arriving at the bridal store, Isabel and Sophie got out of the car first and walked up to the entrance. Tristan, meanwhile, went to send his car to the valet. Evidently, the bridal store had exceptional services as well. When the receptionist saw Sophie and Isabel, she went up to them instantly and asked, "Hi there. Did you guys make an appointment?" Apparently, there were too many customers who were eager to try on the wedding gowns at the store. Hence, all the customers had to make an appointment prior to the visit. Isabel glanced at Sophie and asked, "Did you make an appointment?" Sophie didn't know she needed to make an appointment, so she smiled and answered, "I have no idea. Let's ask Tristan later." I think he had already made an appointment. Sophie thought Tristan would most probably know they needed to make an appointment to try on the wedding gowns. What? I knew you wouldn't have thought about making an appointment. Isabel then turned toward the receptionist and said, "Hold on. The person who made the appointment is about to arrive." When Tristan entered the store, he saw both of them standing near the entrance. "Why are you not going in? We were waiting for you because they told us we could only get in with an appointment. Did you make an appointment?" "What? I didn't know we needed an appointment." Tristan didn't know he needed to make an appointment because the store owner invited him to visit the store. "Are you serious, Uncle Tristan? You didn't make an appointment as well? We wasted our time then." Isabel also thought Tristan would have everything settled before they arrived. Who would have thought this could happen? Don't worry about it. I'll make a call. Tristan immediately called the store owner. Why didn't you tell me I needed to make an appointment before visiting your store? I'm already here. What am I supposed to do now? Tristan asked the store owner. You're already there, Mr. Tristan. You don't need to make an appointment. Give me a moment. I'll call the store. The store owner hung up the phone and called the store manager. Upon receiving the call from the store owner, the store manager rushed out of the store to welcome Tristan and the girls. I'm so sorry, Mr. Tristan. My subordinates had never seen you before. My boss informed me earlier that you'll be coming. Let me show you the wedding gowns right away, the store manager apologized. What the heck? Why would Mr. Tristan ever need to make an appointment to visit our store? Having him take his wedding photos here is the best advertisement we can get. Okay. Tristan wrapped his arm around Sophie's shoulders and followed the store manager into the store. Isabel gaped in disbelief the moment they arrived on the second floor. This place is filled with wedding gowns. It's really a paradise for brides. The store was indeed filled with wedding gowns, which were all custom-made. Needless to say, it was in a different league compared to the other bridal stores. Not only were the wedding gowns exquisite, but even the veils and jewelry were the best one could find. Everything here is so pretty. Even Isabel, who had seen luxurious clothing, was in awe. What kind of wedding gowns do you prefer, Sophie? I'll help you pick. Since you have such a wonderful body figure, you'll look fabulous in any wedding gown available here. You should pick for me. Sophie told Isabel to pick for her because she knew Isabel wasn't in a good mood. I must give Isabel something to do so that she can keep her mind clear of Felix. Go on. Tristan knew Sophie wanted to be with Isabel, so he didn't stop Sophie. No matter what, Isabel was still his niece, so he wasn't petty about it. How about you? Don't you need to pick your suit as well? However, you're handsome enough to pull off anything, Sophie said while holding Tristan's hand. She didn't want to leave him alone, so she suggested, perhaps you can call Arius and ask him to accompany you. Arius was the groomsman, so he, too, had to try on some suits. Besides, it would be best if he could also tag along to take the wedding photos. Sure. I'll call Arius now and ask him to bring Georgina along. Tristan agreed. Sophie then went to look for Isabel. Isabel was thrilled when she saw the elegant wedding gowns. Sophie, these wedding gowns are all so lovely. Now, it's up to you to pick the style you want. Isabel was astonished after taking a quick glance at the wedding gowns in the store. This is the world of the rich and famous. Right then, the store manager showed up and said, Ms. Tanner, considering your body figure, I think you can fit into all our wedding gowns. Could you let me know your requirements for the wedding gowns? We will bring them for you to try on. The bridal house was huge. If Sophie and Isabel were to roam on their own to find the desired wedding gown, they could end up taking the entire day to do so. Bring me the ones you think will suit me the best. Sophie replied. There are too many wedding gowns here to pick from. Sure, Ms. Tanner. Please rest here while I get the others to bring you the gowns. The store-ma ordered someone to serve Sophie and Isabel warm water. Ms. Tanner, Ms. Lombard, please don't hesitate to get me if you need anything. The server was girl with a pleasant smile. Isabel grew tired after checking out some of the wedding gowns on display. Hence, she sat beside Sophie on the couch and drank water. Shouldn't I try on some bridesmaid dresses? Obviously, as Sophie's bridesmaid, Isabel also had to look beautiful. Sure. Georgina will be here later. She'll join you. Just then, the store manager returned with some of the employees with dozens of wedding gowns. Sophie frowned when she saw that. Must I try all of them on?
Thank you for listening. If you have enjoyed this story, please like and share so others can see it too. Also hit the subscription button and notification bell so you can be notified on our next release. Thank you for your support. God bless you.